Well, it's my last night with the Veloster N. I wanted to wrap up my week with this car and let you guys know how I feel about it after spending a few days behind the wheel. I really like this thing. I'm going to be sad to see it go. It is a fantastic performance car and a really nice daily driver. Hyundai's added some really cool features for 2021, and this new dual clutch is actually a highlight for me. And surprisingly, this is probably the transmission I would pick with this car. It's not often that I would choose a DCT over a manual. There are really only a few cars where that's the case, and this Veloster N is one of them. I think the highlight here is this thing is fun. They've managed to inject some cool little features into this car that keep it entertaining. It sounds great, and oh boy, does it perform. We're going to turn a few performance settings back on here. You've got this little performance menu, you've got launch control. You can enable a shift indicator beep, which I've turned off, and track sense shift and N power shift. These are new things for the 21 model year. And power shift is pretty cool because above 90% throttle, it'll basically give you full power between shifts instead of cutting the engine's boost and cutting the engine's power. And it's almost like power shifting a manual transmission, but of course, you've got a DCT. The wet clutch, dual clutch transmission in this car helps facilitate a lot better temperature management and reliability with the performance shift modes that this has. It's pretty trick stuff. Hopefully we'll be able to get a chance with this car on a track someday. It actually accelerates between shifts when you have N power shift enabled. It's pretty cool. I love all the performance and the driving excitement that this Veloster N has to offer. And I will also say it's a really nice daily driver. It's efficient, it's comfortable, it feels really solid. This is one of the more robust cars that Hyundai has ever made. It really does feel like they've put the engineering into this car and made a quality hatchback. And the performance is just insane. The cornering ability, the grip. Oh my gosh. The level of traction that this front differential gives you out of a corner is just sublime. I think it puts its power down better than the Civic Type R. Very curious to see how the two would compare on track with all things even. Tires. Mostly tires. I think this Veloster N would be quicker on a shorter track for sure. But what I like about this car is that the performance isn't necessarily the whole story. This is just a fun car to drive all the time. It's enjoyable as a daily, it's quiet when you want it to be. You can wake it up with the exhaust with just a click of a button on the right here, put it into N mode or N custom. And And that's really the best part about this car for me, is that you can customize it and tailor it and suit it to your preferences and what you want when you want it. Right now we're just driving around in normal mode. It's quiet, the shifts are smooth, the ride quality is well damped. I think if you downsize to a set of 18-inch wheels, ride quality would improve substantially. But the directness and the sharpness you get from these 19s is nice. And I'll say, even on Michigan's rough, bumpy, pothole-covered roads, the ride quality is just fine. I've been driving crossovers and SUVs for the last few weeks, so I got behind the wheel of this and I was like, whoa, this is stiff, but really, it's not an issue. Let's do one more entrance ramp just for fun here. One thing I've noticed with this DCT Veloster N is the exhaust isn't as loud and ostentatious as it is with a manual car. So there are some differences between the DCT and the manual. I mean, of course, the 6-speed is the more pure option. It's lighter weight, it's less expensive, but I think this DCT is worth the extra cost. It is fun, and makes it a little bit more, I think, special feeling, and feels a little bit more higher quality. The manual Veloster N is good, but it's not necessarily a manual transmission that I would necessarily seek out. It's not like a Miata 6-speed or a Civic Type R 6-speed. Guys an idea of the headlights here. Full throttle through a corner, it just hooks up, you point it, it goes there. No understeer, no drama. The E-diff just figures it all out. Amazing. Guys, there are not a lot of street cars in the real world that could hang with this thing on a back road. Oh, it's so good. I love it. I just love it. I would buy one of these, you guys. I would own a Veloster N, and I would get the DCT. It's a little bit expensive right now. It's encroaching on $34,000 or $35,000, but it's worth it. The performance you get from this car, the track capabilities, nothing can really touch it at the price point. Even the Civic Type R can't handle track work. Boy, these traffic lights are completely out. I think this is, without a doubt, one of the best hot hatches ever made. It encroaches upon sports car territory. I think, Hyundai could have given us the Elantra GTN or the i30N like it is in Europe. But this Veloster N has more capability. It has a lower center of gravity, it's lighter weight, it's more aerodynamic, it's more of a performance car. This is the most hardcore end product that Hyundai makes, and here we get it in the US. We're missing a few options like heated seats and heated steering wheels and some tech stuff, but really, that doesn't matter. That doesn't affect the driving experience. If anything, it saves weight, and yeah, this DCT is heavier than the 6-speed manual, but I don't really feel it, and I don't think it affects performance. This just is a really, really solid driving car. At night, the gauges don't quite illuminate at the same level. The screen is just slightly brighter than the center gauges. A little bit strange, but you get used to it. One cool thing about the wet clutch system in this DCT is I think it allows just a little bit more slip than you would have with a dry clutch system. So if you watch my review on this car, launch control really does allow for quite a bit of slip off the line. Let's see what we hit around this corner as far as G's go. Yeah. Amazing. Just amazing. I will say, I called this a gimmick in my last video, but this N-grin shift passing mode, what a great feature. It's actually really useful in practice. If you do need to pass someone, you just press it, you've got 20 minutes of overboost, and it immediately puts you into the lowest gear, the most revs, the most aggressive settings. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. It's these little things that just add to a really good overall experience with this car. It's just fun. What was that, 0.96 sustained G's around that corner? It's 50 degrees. It's been raining all day, so the pavement's a little bit rocky, a little bit dusty. That's amazing, just amazing. All right, so go buy a Hyundai Veloster N. If you're a purist and you want the manual, you can't go wrong. But I think if you want the best experience, this dual clutch is a really solid option. Hyundai and their N division, they put in the work, they do their due diligence, they make these cars pretty bulletproof, and they make them reliable, and they make them work on track. I mean, I've seen the way they torture test them around racetracks, and I've driven these cars all day long. They don't overheat, they don't break, they just stay strong. And I think that says a lot about Hyundai's N division and the development that they put into this. It's fun, it's fast, it's cheap. Get one while you still can, and yeah, well done, Hyundai. I think you've even outdone the Civic Type R here. Oh, and we even get this illuminated N in the seats, which is cool. I think these save about 4 pounds too between the two of them. Kind of neat. It looks better dirty, doesn't it? It's been a while since I've been in a properly fast hot hatch, and I will say I do miss it. Cars like this are fun. They're so enjoyable on the daily grind and the daily drive. All right, guys, that's it for this one. We'll see you later. Take it easy.